Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi wind up in charge of America's foreign policy as we stand on the cusp of a third world war. And why are Republicans supporting them? And what happens when you put people with a demonstrated lack of boundaries or self-control or wisdom in charge of something as important as the fate of nations? Well, here's what happens. Watch as one after the other, the Democrats you just saw on tape announce that this regime change is not nearly over. In fact, this war has just begun. Watch.
Well, one thing is really clear, that this delegation wanted to send, but also President Biden has made very clear with his most recent aid package request. It is a historic request that we're going to push hard in the United States Congress to help pass. And it sends a very simple message. We are not interested in stalemates. We are not interested in going back to the status quo. The United States of America is in this to win. And we will stand with Ukraine until victory is won.
That was Congressman Jason Crow, a confirmed buffoon, telling us that we're not in it to achieve a stalemate. We're? Really? Some of us were under the impression, based on their public statements, that we were defending the sovereignty of another country, Ukraine, that it's not up to us, it's up to the voters of Ukraine, because Ukraine's a democracy. But here's Congressman Crow telling us we're not going to accept a, quote, stalemate. We're in it to win it. We're going to win. We're here till we get victory. Well, that raises the obvious question, what is winning? What is victory? How do we know when we've won? Well, Jason Crow didn't tell us. And neither, by the way, did Nancy Pelosi. She just said we're going to keep sending weapons to Ukraine, quote, until the fight is done.
We believe that we are visiting you to say thank you for your fight for freedom, that we are on a frontier of freedom, and that your fight is a fight for everyone. And so our commitment is to be there for you until the fight is done.
How did we get here exactly? Do you feel betrayed? If you're one of the millions of good-hearted Americans who put a Ukrainian flag pin on your lapel or put one in front of your house expressing solidarity with the poor oppressed people of Ukraine, you probably didn't think you were signing up for this. Nancy Pelosi telling us we're in a war with a nuclear-armed power with no clear end date. Seen that movie before? Oh, we just finished one after 20 years in Afghanistan. Will it look like that? This is an open-ended conflict, said Nancy Pelosi, just like the war on terror. And just in case you missed it, they all repeated that line. Here's your nightmare again. Adam Schiff in charge of the war against Russia. Watch.
The whole freedom loving world has an interest in the outcome of this war and ensuring that Ukraine is victorious. And we are determined to do everything in our power to make it so. We are proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine, and we will until victory is won.
These people are playing dress up. They have no idea what they're talking about, and they don't care. They get to pretend to be statesmen for a day. But when Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi, again, people with a demonstrated years-long record of being willing to say anything for personal power, anything to improve the fortunes of their political party, when they're standing up with a foreign head of state saying, here's an open check, you fill in the number, you got to wonder where this is going. We know where it could go. This is the most reckless foreign policy in our lifetimes, in American history. You are watching a group of decadent, in some cases senile leaders, casually dismiss the consequences of going to war with a nuclear-armed nation. Dismiss the consequences of nuclear war, like it's not even worth thinking about. But it is worth thinking about. They tell us daily Vladimir Putin is evil and insane, and that may well be true. But this same man has threatened to use nuclear weapons against the United States and Western Europe if this continues. And why don't we believe him? You may have missed this. The New York Times didn't seem to have time to cover it. But here's Russia's foreign minister just last week underscoring the point.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov with a chilling warning. The risk of nuclear war is a real one. Speaking to state-run media, Lavrov said, quote, "The danger is serious. It is real. It cannot be underestimated."